welcome to another wonderful Wellbeing Wednesday. I'm your host, Karen Keener of The Sovereign Mom, and today I welcome from Alt Eats, Cassandra Bloyer, one of my best friends in the whole wide world. We have so much in common. We're both farm girls at heart who still like makeup and jewelry and sparkles and glitter and fancy things.
That's
Welcome,
true.
Cassandra.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm still messing with my screens
That's okay.
and losing things.
You got your ears in?
There it is. That's the one. There we go. Okay, now we're ready.
So how are you today?
I'm well, thank you. I'm just kidding. I'm doing very well. I've been thinking about that, I've been thinking about the whole wellness thing, and how when people ask, how are you doing? You say, I'm well, thank you. Like, what does that actually mean when I say that, right?
Yeah.
This whole thing has been making me just rethink the entire meaning of wellness, like as an individual or as like people, or what's the actual definition? That's the stuff I've been thinking about.
Well, society could use some well-being. The reason I started doing Well-Being Wednesday is because I figured there's really no hope for humanity if they don't start taking care of themselves first. Like, you can work on the rest of the world, but if people don't feel good about themselves and they aren't feeling well and they're not taking care of themselves, then you can't expect them to take care of each other or their neighbors, or to be able to have the mindset beyond just desperate choices. You know what I mean? Like the kind of things, like when, let's say, with food, for example, and this is something you know well about, if you wait until you're starving hungry, you'll want sugar to like bring your blood sugar up, and then you're feeling like um but if you prepare food in advance and you do a lot of things that are self-care things in advance to take care of yourself, to put the right food in your refrigerator, even starting at the grocery. I feel like good health starts at the grocery store. It's well before, you're in your kitchen and you're at the last minute and there's nothing in the pantry that's healthy to eat. You gotta start at the farm and the grocery store in your backyard or whatever. But talk to me.
It has been so long since I could do any of those things. um, the whole idea, see, when you first sent me the message and I started watching your videos, and I was thinking, you ask, what is wellness? And I kept thinking, God, it's a facade is what it is. It's just like a never attainable thing. And I, that would be from my own point of view, of course. But thinking about it more and more and more, and I did look up the meaning actually, and it is the state of being in good health. And I saw that, I'm like, well, see, there you go. How could any of us actually be in the state of good health with the conditions that we live in now? But it also says, especially as an actively pursued goal. And I thought, that's it right there. It's true. So that's
You're
what
the
it
first
is.
person on the show that's pulled up the dictionary definition of well-being.
It means a lot. Words to me, right? It's the spells, the spelling. It means
Yeah.
a lot to me, and that's what I kept thinking about. What is the actual meaning? Because I know what it means to me, and to me, it's just like this never-ending thing that I'm just like chasing after, and it's like I want it, and I've never given up on going after it. But have I ever had it? I don't think so. I
It's
don't
a
think I
noble
have been.
pursuit.
Yeah.
And
It's a
I think
tough
that if that's the definition of it, is the pursuit of it, then you have it by virtue of pursuing it, right?
I don't know. I'll let you know. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. So that meant a lot to me, especially now. There's been a lot going on that I like that you're about to find out. You don't even know yet. So, but no, there's been a lot going on, and honestly, it goes along with actively pursuing a goal, right? For health. Um, and that for me means not just with what we're eating and my body and things like that. It has a lot to do with, what is the health of my heart? What is the health of my mind, my spirit? These are the questions I've been having to ask myself a lot lately. And not just am I asking it to myself, but when I do this, I ask other people because I desperately need people to bounce things off of. This is why I love talking to people. So, and I find that this is something that maybe we don't think about. And that's why I was thinking, man, maybe we should have a day like Wednesday to check in on our wellness. Maybe we do need that weekly reminder that there's something we're not seeing inside of us, unfortunately. And it is just like a constant pursuit of this goal that, I mean, is that what you even want? Are you even pursuing that? And so anyways, off the topic of the name of the show.
No, it's okay. It's good because I think that is the point, really. So, here we are. And do you want to talk a little bit about your journey from early on? Like, because you're talking about pursuing well-being. What does that journey look like in the life of Cassandra Bloyer?
That's hard, is what that is. No, I'm just kidding.
Where did it all begin, your health pursuit in health?
Okay, so I talk about this on my website. There's a little bit about me. There's an about me section where I talk about my business and how I came to doing that. But where, it includes my story for weight loss, great weight loss, and how I spent my entire life. And I'm talking my entire life. There's proof that basically since I could eat, I have been just massively overweight, and that just was my life. And that sucked. That wasn't fun. And but now I look at it as one of those blessings where it's like a curse is a blessing, because I had so much introspect growing up, and I feel because of that, I've had a really good chance to get to know who I am, and I feel fortunate because now I know that normal people had friends and had lives and did things, and so we're so much more involved with anything, but I just was only involved with myself. And what it doesn't talk about in there is the like the emotional and mental and all the different challenges that I had to endure during all that introspective time. And not just that, but I was a child and a teenager and an adult, and I was growing, and I didn't do everything perfect. And not only that, but just coming from that frame of mind of being morbidly obese your entire life, it's different to say the least. It's different. And so it doesn't talk about how I took it. It was like pure willpower how I lost all that weight. And before, I mean, I was sick before, the regular story that you hear if you know anything about anything, which is I was a healthy baby one day, and then the next I was no longer healthy for the rest of my life, basically. And there's so much more to that. There's so much more. But when I took that change and I changed my mind about being overweight, and I'm making it sound much simpler than it is, but I did that. And that took a lot of willpower to do. And I think that was when the real journey started, is when I changed my mind and I realized that was all it took, all that time, in the 80s and the 90s, it was like non-fat foods and all these different solutions, eat margarine, stuff like that. So that it was supposed to be the answer, but was it the answer? No,
Right.
it was not.
Or it was the opposite of the answer. It's like where they were like pushing all this stuff with like vegetable oil and seed oils and all this stuff instead of like animal fats and things that our bodies can process better. And I don't want to get into like the religion of diet. You can do more of that than me, but it
Don't
becomes
even
a
get me
little
started.
dogmatic
Don't do
for some people, right?
it. It's there's a reason it's an establishment. There's a
Yeah.
reason that there's so much research. There's so much out there. There's so many videos you can find. There's so many people with stories. Um, I can't sell you the change your mind concept. I can't do it. That's a self journey, unfortunately. That I can say how I did it, but I have to admit I am just slightly superior in ways of controlling my brain. I'm just
Well,
kidding.
I mean, I think it was, I can't remember if it's Tony Robbins or someone else that had that were like the five people we're influenced most, or we are the amalgam of the five people that we spend the most time with, or whatever. And so do you think that like you said, you can't sell people on the idea, but I think if you put the kind of people you want to be like in your sphere of influence, and that can start to kind of permeate your psyche through osmosis a little bit, just having those people around you, just kind of cheering you on, or just watching how they're doing it. Like, okay, what are they doing differently than what I'm doing, even on the like tiny things that might make it easier for me to make this like leap.
I really don't know if
You were
there's.
on your own, huh?
I was. I mean, I always am. I I'm pretty sure that I could come up with a concept, but the thing is I wouldn't want to because it's so personal. Would I love to help and like be there for somebody? 1,000%. Like I would love to. Are you kidding me? And it's hard. It's so hard. And all I had was myself telling myself no, no to um, this program, no to the program that I've had my entire life, multiple times a day, eating. We all have that. That's just who we are, and that's fine. And just like everything else, though, it's like as you grow, you need to change these things. And just like with children, unfortunately, I didn't have this barrier or this person explaining to me how to do things or how to eat or when to eat or how much to eat and when it's too much and oh that means you've had too much, you should probably stop eating. I didn't have any of that. And I suffered a lot, like I said, mentally and emotionally. As I mean, right, it's like it's the full spectrum. You don't just suffer physically. You're not suffering only because you're big, you know what I mean? Or you don't get big only because you're suffering with food. It's the whole spectrum is having an issue.
If we look at like the culture, not American culture as much, but if we look at people closer to different indigenous cultures, or like going back, let's just say we go back before processed food. And so providing food was showing support and care for people. But what's happened now is that we have like surplus of food, we have processed food, we have stuff that really our body shouldn't even be eating. We have sugar and we have things that we didn't ever have before. And so we still have these cultural values of food as a way of showing love. And so we still get that from our families and stuff like that, of like, you eat the food to be polite and to show you appreciate the love that somebody's showering on you by preparing the food, so I think that's a big part of our culture where we need to kind of make a shift. Either we have to start being more considerate about the food, the love that we're giving to people, like making sure
Yeah.
it's actually healthy and good for people, and not just like trying to spoil people with things that they like because they hit certain like parts of our brain that are addictive. And so we tend to like want to give people those feelings by giving them that kind of food. I mean, I was just around family in Texas. And so of course it's like the sugar, the fried, the this, and these are all the things that hit these certain like serotonin notes, and they want you to feel that way. And but at the same time, you don't want to start like equating that with love, because it could be very confusing, and then you're eating to feel loved and you're eating the wrong things to feel loved. And
Wow. Those things in particular, I think, you
what's
know,
that?
those things in particular, I think, right, as far as equating love to those types of foods, and that's completely, don't get me started on why, right? There's so many, I could go into that. I try really hard to focus on the things that we have control over, or I
Right.
personally have
What we can
control
do
over.
now, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm doing that a lot in my life. But I hope that my kids, I feel like that they would equate the food that I make them. I hope they do, because that's like one of my love languages. I've got them all.
Yeah,
But
it's like
that's
I want to
definitely
give
one.
you health. I don't, I know that these foods make you feel good when you're around this person, they feed you that stuff. But when you're at home and you're, oh, soup again, I just, I want my kids to know, like Aaron and I explain, like we do this because this is part of how your body becomes healthy. And so this is why we feed you the foods we feed you. And it's because we love you and we want you to live a long life and we care about you, you know? And that was traditionally what this whole food is love thing came from, because it was about feeding people healthy food so they would live long lives and sustain long lives. But our food chain is so messed up that it's hard to get. So you're making it easier for us to get healthier foods, Cassandra. Talk about that.
I feel like that's debatable even. I'm going to stop trying to be so oppositional though.
You're a
So
contrarian like me, so it's okay. I'm used to that.
that's what I was telling Tyler earlier. Like, Karen is used to me being oppositional, and so it's fine. I'm just kidding. She doesn't mind. She's still my friend. I'm just playing. Devil's advocate. Don't mind if I do. I'm just kidding. So let me think. Hold on. I'm trying to steer away from the reason that's hard now is because it's funny that what I'm doing and what I've done are so completely different in such a short amount of time. So, being that I've been kind of forced into this carnivore lifestyle for almost 3 years, it means that everything that I sell in my business actually doesn't even align with anything I'm doing in my life now.
Yeah.
It's a journey, right?
Yeah.
I'm actively still pursuing the goal of wellness, and in doing so, I can't even have any of my products that I make anymore. But I make the reason I made those products, the reason I started is because, whoops, gonna pull it out again. Sorry.
Well, your family is still eating them.
Well, not just them. I mean, I feel fortunate that where I live now makes me feel incredibly valuable. Everybody is so sweet and is crazy supportive. And the only reason I started doing anything was a friend that I have here in Arizona, where she loved everything that I made. I mean, right? I was making these foods for myself, and I was making these foods for my family, and I shared it with all my friends. And she's so sweet, and she pushed me, and she said, it's really simple, just do it, just do it. And she did that, and finally I decided to. She said, your food is good, it's actually good. That was her excuse. She's like, here's the difference, yours is good. That's why you need to share this with everybody. There's a big need out here for grain free. And that's what I love about being where we live. Everybody, almost every single person out here is so aware of the food industry, and it's because these are country folk and they don't rely on the stores and the food industry for their food. And I just, as a city folk, as a growing up in the city, I admire them all so much. I look up to almost everybody here because they just do this thing. They trade and they've got milk and eggs and meat and everything they need, and they all have gardens, and it's just crazy if you don't. And like
Yeah.
said, I have the same friend. She did the same thing, and if it weren't for her, I wouldn't have gotten chickens. She said, "You just need chickens and a goat." She said, "Everybody has that. Just do it." And I was, but I like, I like challenges. So one day I came home with chickens, and Tyler, of course, like, we're not even ready. Like, well, they were there. So, and now we love it. Now we love having our chickens, and we're growing. Growing towards that self-sufficiency that everybody around here has. And I love it, and it feels good. And not only that, but they're all just so supportive of what I do, and they appreciate the fact that I'm offering something you can't get in the store, and it's not so much more expensive than what you would get in the store, because I'm not in it for the money. I wanted to do this to meet people. I love people, as anybody who knows me knows, and to help people. Because I mean, if you know anything about dietary restrictions, then you know that it's hard to go out to eat or to go to a market and find something that you can enjoy. Like, you want to have fun, right? You go to markets or you go to festivals and you buy the treats, and that's what you do, unless you have a food sensitivity. You don't do that anymore. And not just that, but if you care about your health and your body's well-being, and you only want to put good products in there, then you really don't buy things there. So I've had a lot of fun taking my products, which I try to direct towards gut health, obviously, and I take those to the markets to share with everybody. And not just that, but I also have stores all over the White Mountains, which is where we live. And everybody has been super supportive there. I sell out. I do. People are loving all these new and fun things that I'm creating. So that I've been blessed with that as far as a business go. And the reason I am saying business is because I'm not legally a business. And fortunately for me, in the state of Arizona, I don't have to be. So I don't have to worry about taxes or bookkeeping or a lot of stuff. So it's very minimal, which is perfect for me because I'm a mom. I'm a stay-at-home mom. Are you kidding me? Not just gonna burst into that life.
Yeah, I hear
It's
you. Like,
I've got priorities, right?
we're always like, where do you find the time?
Yeah, that was the whole point. That's actually, my motto is simple is key. And that the reason of that is because all of my recipes, not only do I use organic ingredients, things that grain free and sugar free and things like that, but they're crazy easy. I've got a thing about ingredients, being a chef for so long and having to worry about my health for so long. I have a thing about big ingredient lists, and especially being gluten free for so long. I talk about that on my website in the About Me. I've been gluten free since I was 21, and I just turned 38. I'll have you know. And it's
Happy
been a while.
birthday.
I know. Woohoo.
You're in the zone.
I am. No, it's June. It's the best month of the year. What do you expect?
I know. It's my husband's birthday too, so we have that
See,
in common.
it's true. I know.
What a good people.
The thing about that is being gluten free for so long. Back then there wasn't gluten free anything, right? No, there was
Yes, it
gluten in
was really
everything.
hard at the beginning.
Very, very hard. And then when they started coming out with things, you go, yay, it's gluten free. But then you look at the ingredients, and first of all, becoming gluten free, you have to look at ingredients. And not just that, but you can't just go out to eat and expect everybody to understand. You couldn't then. You maybe now. I don't know. I don't care. You could. But you don't know what's in there. It's all of that stuff. And so you'd get just garbage everywhere and things that hurt you even more or just as bad. It's just not good. And then people end up like me. They end up starting out gluten free. That's the first, right? And then eventually you become dairy free. And then eventually you can't handle eggs anymore. And then eventually you end up, you're almost dying, unfortunately, in my case. Maybe not so drastic for other people, but unfortunately in my case, you get to that point where it's die
Well,
or find a
I
way.
think I think it's not the process of elimination that makes you intolerant to other foods. I think it's the accumulation of crap that makes you gradually intolerant to other foods. So if you're gluten free, but you still have all these, it's like people are like, well, I tried gluten free, didn't do much, but it's like there's things in corn, there's things in oats, there's things in, well, there's still some gluten in oats, but there's things in corn and rice and in other, and even potatoes, like starchy foods that interact with your body just the same way gluten does. And so it might be that like one little step was not really, it was like trying to chip away at an iceberg or something. But what you notice, I think, is that when you start to get rid of just a little thing, you start to notice that you feel a little better. And then when you try to go back and eat it again, you start to go, oh, that's what I used to feel. But you've forgotten because you're like, your new normal is getting better and better. And then when you go back and you eat the rice or the corn or whatever, and then you have migraines and you're like, I'm like, I feel terrible. I had corn, but it's like, I didn't used to feel terrible when I had corn, but I did. I had migraines all the time before when I used to eat corn. So yeah, you have to get rid of a lot more than some people. Some people, it's like gluten that does it.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Lucky them.
I encounter so many different diets with what I do out here, and the reason I do it is because it's so personal, and that's why I like it the way that it is. And I don't know how to personally address masses of people, but people here, we can talk on the phone. I'm like,
Mhm.
what is it? It's not the same for everybody, and that's something else you just can't get from most businesses, and that's because it's not about helping, maybe it is, but for me, I'm just a person, and I want to be there for people in their pursued goal of well-being. I want to help them. I get it. And you were there when you helped me figure out all the different other things that came into play that people don't understand, like nightshades. It got so bad where I didn't know what to do, and I almost went to the emergency room, and because I couldn't walk and my leg just wasn't working. And it's weird, right, when that happens. But and I cut out nightshades, and within 2 days it was completely gone.
Mhm.
That's it. Then that was years ago. And then after that, and then you started talking to me about the gaps and started looking into it, and we're like, yes, yes, and here's some things I can have. And I was having green smoothies, with almond milk, because it was just amazing, and I like them. I like veggies, but that's when I started having horrific back pain. And you were like, well, is it your kidneys? And I realized, like, it's directly where my kidneys are. I didn't think about that. I'm like, oh, it just hurts to lay on my back. Everything, it hurts. I didn't realize that was the issue. And so we cut out the oxalates, and sure enough, there it goes.
Yeah.
But my naturopath says that what I was doing was chasing my symptoms. And this was about 3 years ago, he told me, and that there needed to be so much more done, so we did this genetic test. It's like an intestinal genetic test where they get the genetics from
I've done
directly
it.
inside of your person,
Yes,
right?
I had to do that with like 23andMe. You send it in, the health and nutrition one, and then you put that information in another program, and it reads out like what all your different genetic mutations are that are causing you to not be able to detox anything. Like, guess what? You're going to be on methyl B vitamins for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's hard, but it tells you
Yeah.
and that's something that you especially don't get when you start a diet,
Hmm.
or whatever it is that you're doing. If you're going to somebody who's not doing those things, and then guess what? Doctors aren't going to do it either. They won't
It's
be
not,
doing anything.
it's still unfortunate. Well, obviously it's not taught in most like medical school practices. They don't care about nutrition. Even nutritionists don't know about a lot of this stuff most of the time. But also it's just like the world is not going to catch up to this because it does not require eating more of the foods that are making you sick, and that is profitable and highly profitable, and it doesn't, and then that actually keeps you in the doctor's office, which is another part of the profit matrix. And then the other part being that they'd rather just go, you have allergies, and prescribe you an allergy pill instead of figuring out like what kind of food sensitivities you might have that you can clear out of your diet or heal your gut, so then you can reintroduce them gently eventually. Hopefully, I hope that for you eventually, Cassandra.
That is my goal. That is the goal. Well, it got to the point where at that point, I was having so many issues, and we did some blood tests, and they found that my liver wasn't doing very great. Funny enough, and that had everything to do with detoxing.
Yeah.
My liver wasn't doing good. My kidneys weren't doing good. Obviously my stomach was not great either. And they were just so drastically low that he just said, I don't know how you're even awake and doing anything. And it wasn't just that. They did, brain tests and things like that. And everything was suffering. And I had been eating healthy since I was 21. I had cut out sugar. I had cut out so much. And I thought I was so limited then.
Yeah, I know.
Little did I know it could get so
It's
much more
funny.
fun.
It's funny. I was in Trader Joe's once, and there was this lady that was like, "Where's the such and such, the gluten-free such and such, or do these have gluten in them?" And asking the guy. And so I walked over, and I'm like, "I can help you." And then I realized, like, I was like, "But this doesn't have gluten, but it's gonna have seed oils, and it's gonna have corn, and it's gonna have this and the other shit. Corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup is like worse than gluten." And then I realized, like, once upon a time, there was like a crazy lady that didn't want gluten and anything, and I was like, ha ha ha, like, you funny lady. And then now I am way beyond that level of crunchy, and I am the really crazy, like, that lady wanted to get as far away from me as possible.
That is hilarious. I could never. I bring it up with my customers, I do, or with people in general who talk to me about that. And it's like, well, corn products and things like that. Do you care about that? And they're like, oh, no, I don't. That's not even an issue. Okay, it is, but I can't. You know me. I can't I
Yes.
can't intrude. Just kind of gently, just okay, whatever you want.
Well,
But
that was my lesson learned. That was when we were still in Virginia, and I learned that lesson. And I'm like, okay, only if people ask, or they're really looking for help, do I butt in and start saying, "Oh no."
I think that was a great seed. That was a good idea. Oh yeah, totally gluten free. But I mean, those are things everybody should be aware of. And if you're not, I'm confused. Like we are so late in the game. There are so many sick people. You just have to be completely unaware to not see that. And that's kind of my issue. I was talking to Tyler about that, is with the influencers and things like that. There are how many? I'm trying to think. I don't know of very many extremely popular influencers that that are healthy, or that eat healthy,
Okay.
I suppose. It's just like such a broad term as far as what is healthy and all this
Yeah,
crap.
but they
But you
care
can,
about it.
yeah, or are even aware. The thing is, everybody loves seeing people shove their face with garbage. They love it, right? That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. But what influence are you having as an influencer? Exactly what are you doing to, for your people who are watching you or who care? And that's why I always tell Tyler, I'm like, this is why I can't be the person telling people what to do and things like that. I mean, for so many reasons.
No, but you can give them ideas that, like, we can plant, drop seeds and go, which one do you want to take?
I
Like,
know it's
here's a bunch
hard.
of them. So tell me about Alt Eats. You initially there was a plan to do some cooking classes, and I think you are doing some locally. Is that happening more, or that was like,
Um, yes. So we did record some cooking classes, and which were online, and that is such a struggle for me. I can talk to you on this because I'm talking to you, and I need to talk to people. I love that. I love this back and forth. But when it was just me on the camera and then Tyler, and I was like trying really hard to have a personality to nobody. It was so hard. It was really hard. I couldn't do it.
well, if you ever want in the future for a well-being Wednesday, and this would probably be even like more popular and more interesting, is to bring this to your kitchen, like bring Zoom to your kitchen,
I
set it
thought about
up,
it.
and I'll put you on Wellbeing Wednesday and you can like show us cooking. So just do a little, if you ever want to do that, we could do that.
I would love to do that. I'm trying really hard to just get into the mode of recording again, especially because so I got on TikTok because I wanted to share more about like what I'm actually doing, because my business, I have products and I have things and it's for everybody. And I'm also doing videos like that, but I wanted to show more about what I eat as a person, like
Mm-hmm.
who's the person behind Alt Eats. And that's what I've been working on. And it turns out my carnivore videos are the most popular videos, actually. I
Yeah,
was really
it's
surprised.
something that people want to know more about. And it's the same thing, like, I don't remember what it was, but there was some kind of fora or whatever. But somebody asked a question about fasting, on like doing water fasts or whatever on like different times of the month. And so I was like, oh, I've done that before, like through periods and through different things. And how it influenced me. That little comment that I just responded to somebody else's thing, it gets 300 views a day. I didn't even know it. All of a sudden somebody like responded to it and I clicked on it and it was like, oh my gosh, I've gotten like 300 to 500 views a day on just that stupid little comment I made about water fasting, because people are fascinated by like other ways people can get healthy.
It's nice to know
Yeah.
different things to try, right? And it's nice to hear it from other people's mouths. I think what people aren't saying as much as maybe this isn't for you, but
Yeah.
it definitely worked for me.
Yeah.
This is not for everybody. That's something you're not going to hear in, for veganism.
Yes.
That's not the message that you're getting.
No,
And
because it's a religion and a dogma. And even with carnivores sometimes, and I always have to go back to this does not have to be dogmatic. This can be like, I
it's
mm,
personal.
yeah.
It's personal. That's what
It
it
is.
is.
That's
That's
why,
the
like you
biggest
said, the
mistake.
genetic test, you like look at it and it dials it in. It's like, oh, genetically speaking, you shouldn't be eating this. You should be doing this kind of exercise. Like there's like a whole bunch of things that you can figure out when you look into just your genes and your genetic mutations and stuff. You like learn a lot more about yourself
Oh, that'll blow your
and the
mind
blood
about
tests and
yourself.
everything else.
Well, that's the problem is we're so individual. And if you just think of it simply as our genes, they're our genes.
Yeah.
Nobody else has this. And not only that, but nobody had my life. Nobody has done what I've done. They're not experiencing everything that I have experienced. And therefore, there's no program out there for me type of situation. You know what I mean? I'm not saying there's
Mhm.
nothing that can help. What I'm saying is nobody can tell me how to treat my body, things like that. There's people that can help you, of course, with certain issues, but it all comes down to what are your certain issues. And that's why I say I try to focus on the things that I control. What do
Right.
how can I fix my life? And then use those things to help others. And I always just tell people to turn to naturopathy. I said, if you're feeling sensitivities towards any food, please go see a naturopath.
Mm-hmm.
Please stop seeing those doctors.
Mm-hmm.
You really need to fine tune your healthcare and turn it into your healthcare. Does insurance pay for it? No,
Yeah.
it
I
does
know.
not, unfortunately. And let's not open that can of that can of worms. Sorry. It's a big can. It's a
Yeah.
drastic one.
Yeah.
But why? Why doesn't it? It doesn't matter why. You know what? The fact is do you want to be healthy or do you not? What do you need to do? Do you need more money to do it? What is it you have to do? Because, you're going to have people everywhere trying to influence your daily life, and they don't have you in mind doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of the big thing about that. And that's why I like just being personal, this, me and you, and when we video talk, that's personal. You know so much more about me than a lot of people do. And, other people here, and I love that. I need you to feel me really caring for you. I really care, and I really want you to feel it. And it's not just something that I can just throw out there for everybody, because I really want to love you, as a person and everybody I know. I want to do that. And because of that, I hope that they can feel that when I say please go see a naturopath, then they know that it's coming from somewhere completely sincere, and because I don't think anybody deserves to live their life or go through anything that I've been through.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been pretty much garbage. So please, will you just have a good life, please?
Naturopath, osteopath, functional medicine. Those are my top 3 recommendations. And maybe a chiropractor and skip the rest.
Oh, yeah. Oh, chiropractor.
Acupuncturist, Chinese herbalist, whatever.
There's so much out there, and you can
There's
do it
some
yourself.
good resources out there. And and there's like a homeopath that I've like been turned on to. And I used to be like, oh, homeopathy, but I interviewed her on one of my first shows and she was so fantastic. I think everybody should learn about homeopathy. And
Well, that takes introspection, which is kind of the issue, I
yeah,
think.
it's
You need
energetic
to have to
medicine.
look inside yourself, and that is a tough journey.
Hmm.
That's a tough one. So I want to tell you what I've been, my recent challenges and how it's affecting my business and me and things like that as a person.
What's
Um,
going on with you, woman?
so here we are, almost 3 years. I've been carnivore, and seemingly I've been doing okay. I mean, I haven't been suffering from pain and sickness and other things. I really seemed to narrow some stuff down, and then we moved, as you know. And it turns out that was one of the biggest moves of my life. You'd think moving from Utah to Arizona would be, no, it wasn't. It didn't even touch that.
Sometimes, you know what? Like when our last move was like I almost have PTSD from that move.
Yes.
And it was because we had a house with a lot more square footage and we didn't know little by little we were filling up all of those spaces. And so it was just hell to me.
I, you know, yes, that's a huge one. That house had at least two-thirds more space than what we have now,
Yeah.
actually, our last house. And it was beautiful and I loved it. I realized, however, that the biggest issue was that was probably the first place I ever felt like I was at home.
Yeah. So there's like
I,
an emotional.
It
Mm,
was. It was emotional. It was psychological. It was huge in every way. And we suffered a little bit through that. It was hard to find a place out here. It's very difficult to find a rental. And we were thinking, okay, do we got to try to hurry and buy something, which isn't fun either.
no.
So it was just a lot in this amount of time. And I figure like, hey, I'm this willpower pro. I can totally handle all of this, and it's super cool. And right after we finished moving here, when we finally got settled, I was still suffering emotionally. And once again, my organs have been acting up, to say the least. I have actually, I have a hard time saying this unless it's face to face, which is why I haven't told you yet, or like because we haven't talked in a while. But it hasn't. So it, it was worse than it was 3 years ago, basically. So my liver again was starting to fail, and my kidneys as well. And then it turns out my appendix was like it was on a lot. It was under a lot of stress, and my gut is just like riddled with um, ulcers again. And I haven't had that since I was a kid, actually. I used to have ulcers all the time, just bleeding ulcers, and I haven't since. But now they're here.
Were you on any methyl Bs?
No, I've just been doing what I've been doing.
Okay, because
Yeah.
sometimes the methyl Bs, you'll have to talk to your naturopath about it, but that is something that helps with the stress a lot. And especially if you start with genetic issues going through menopause or perimenopause, the stress, even a tiny bit, like my doctor's like, I'm not a stressed person. Like I'm pretty, and she's like, it doesn't matter. Your body is interpreting everything is stress right now. That's what it's showing up in your blood. It's showing up in your like all these panels that we ran. So the bees are what keeps you, and you're supposed to get a lot of bees from me, but if they're not methylated bees, it might still, your body might not still be processing it properly, holding on to it, not being able to release whatever anymore.
Well, I mean, I did go running back to my naturopath. No,
You
I've
did?
actually been, I did, but I have been actually seeing him consistently because I mean, and he said this from the beginning. He said that he he's really suspected that it was past traumas and things, emotional and psychological things that I wasn't dealing with. He was really saying, I really think that that's an issue. So we started trauma work together. Fortunately for me, he did that, and he did some tapping, and
Yeah.
he's helped me so much in that sense. But then I was suffering so badly, and it was scary, the pain, and it was just so much worse than it was before, and it was bad before, but this time was so much worse, and it was really scary. And honestly, just the pain that I was going through, I was really scared that I was going to die. And I hate, nobody likes that feeling.
Yeah.
So I started going through that again, and I went back to him, and he gave me things, and tried to help, but he said it again. He said, I think you're under too much stress is the issue. You've got all these things that you're dealing with, and you're actually not dealing with it. It's just going in and sitting in there. And that's one of those things that I've been concentrating on, actually. And it's funny because now I'm also doing classes, offering classes, and doing more with my business, but that doesn't stress me out. Actually, being with people, it's a stress relief. I love that. And being helpful and things like that, those make me happy. So I'm happy to do those things. And I'm happy to say that so far I've had good responses, with my students and everything. And that means a lot. That means the whole world. But I needed a change. That had something. I needed to actively change a lot in my life, actually. And then when you're facing your mortality in that way, you start to realize as well, like, what's important to you. And so
So what kind of things are you changing? Like, I mean, I do tap, like I do, do you know, I do tapping with Melanie more. So I'm in a
yeah, you
group with
told
her,
me.
so we tap all the time.
Yeah. Well, I think I definitely need to do more of that. I think I need to learn.
It's something that just keeps me like going. Like I feel like that monthly group is something that I have to do. Like it's like some people, like they have to go to the salon and get their hair done to feel like right or whatever. And to me, it's my tapping group. I have to have my tapping group once a month. Like there's several calls a month, and I have to be on them, or I have to watch the replays and do all the tapping work and watch tapping videos as much as I can for whatever comes up.
I'm gonna have to. I'm trying to. That's one of those things. I'm trying to make more time for actually healing myself. So that's something I didn't do. I always figured that I could go back and I could just concentrate on my family and my kids now. I always thought, oh, I can do that later, when I have time to do it. But turns out I don't have time anymore to do it. So, or I don't have time to wait. I have to do it now. I have to. I want to be a grandma. There's too much I want out of my life. And I want to be alive, and I am fighting for that really hard. And that's the thing is people, we don't realize what we're doing. I always thought I was super tough, like I can't, there's nothing I can't handle. I've been through so much. It's cool. It turns out that like up here, I was handling it just fine. But inside, it's
So
it's it's killing
what
me.
if you don't mind, is this too personal? Maybe you can say, but what were some of the things that were stressing you out that you had to eliminate that you like, have you pinpointed some of the things? Like you say, like focusing on business doesn't stress you out. What did that you're having to shift or whatever?
That's a good question. I'm going to try and carefully answer it. um,
Okay.
I think that move brought out a lot of that childhood trauma
Hmm.
that I had never addressed, and I think like I said, losing that home, that very first home. I mean, I was 37 years old, and I finally felt like I had a home. Like that. That was a big one. And not just that, just I think a lot of that emotional stuff, and that makes things hard in general, right? Like when you're busy and you're just going, no rest and no
Yeah.
relaxation, and you just keep pumping along, and you've got a family and you're still doing all of that and just like 50 times more because my
You're
kids trash that
definitely
house.
you're definitely more like type A, go getter, whatever. And are you able to do anything about that?
You know what? I like to relax. Like my kids know this about me. It's
Yes,
work hard and play hard. And
right.
believe you me, I know how to play hard. I love to play. I know how to relax. I know when I need it. I know myself so well. And I know how to push myself real good and get things done. And I'll tell you what, I killed it. I had to repaint this huge house. I cleaned carpets. I fixed carpets. I fixed doorknobs. I fixed walls. I did it all. And because
Do
I
you think it
was,
was too much though? Like instead of pacing yourself, were you listening to your body?
it may have been too much mixed with those emotions coming up about a home, and things like that are hard on relationships as well, and that makes things really hard in general. And everything was kind of like getting to a boiling point, is what happened, and it overboiled, and I didn't realize that I was doing that because I'm like, nope, we're still good. We just keep on going. Like every up here, like everything is fine because I can just keep going. Everything is totally cool. And I still feel that way for the most part. And I'm trying to catch myself now when I'm doing that. When it's too much, like that's the hard part. I've never had to do this. I've never had to take it easy on
Reel
myself.
it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to reel it back now. Definitely. I'll just be like, nope, I need to go sit down and just like decompress, put on some music. Like yesterday, like we got back from Texas for a funeral, and that was kind of crazy going there. And then there was all these emotions, and we came home, and I was like freaking out when we got back. And I was like, okay, I need to like just sit down and make a playlist for hope. Like musical playlists on YouTube that I can play every day that give me a sense of hope. I was like, I need that right now. So that's what I'm going to spend my entire half my day doing. And that might seem like a waste of time to some people, but for me, that was like my form of listening to what my body needed at that time. And so,
Well, I have a special tool, and it's funny because you sent me that interview that you did with Jen, right? And
Jen, mhm.
so that's one of the special tools that I've had in my bag of skills. For I've been doing shamanic journeying for
Okay, yeah,
over 10 years.
yeah.
But I haven't because I'm just so busy with kids and things like that. So that's one of those things that I'm doing now. Tyler is now reading to the kids on Tuesday nights, which is miraculous. And I'm overly grateful. And I have been using those nights to shamanic journey for many reasons. But basically, so far, what it has told me is the reason that I'm so unwell is because my mind, my heart, and my body are nowhere near alignment, unfortunately. And so those are the things I'm working towards. So I've been doing a lot more of that. When I have an issue, when I feel anxiety or sadness, or when I feel anything other than happiness, which I hate, um, I can feel it. You know, it's like clockwork. I get the feelings and then I try to deal with it, and then as soon as things kind of calm down, it just starts to hurt in my abdomen, and I can feel now I know what the pains are, and I still get a lot of liver pain. Or sometimes I can feel my ulcers tingling, or I can feel my appendix just feeling a little tight. It's weird because now I know what the pains are. My pancreas sometimes is out of whack. I've had to cut out avocado oil, coconut oils, and any artificial sweeteners, which were basically the only non-carnivore things I was able to eat, and I can't anymore. I can't have sparkling water anymore. So I'm just down to coffee, raw milk, and just meats and things like that. So I've officially cut out every single plant-based item in my entire life, unfortunately. It's not fun, but I feel much better. And the swelling in my body is going down. So there's so much. It's so much happening. And if you see me at markets or in my classes, nobody knows, nobody's the wiser. Like I said, I haven't told very many people, just people that are like close to me or that I see in my daily life.
Now the whole world's gonna know.
Yeah, well, now you know what I've been suffering through. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
But I do know that's an important lesson to share, because I think people don't realize how much moves can create trauma. I was looking at I'm into like tidying up and order and stuff like that, and organization stuff. I like that. It's fascinating to me. And I was like, I cannot just whatever after this move, I can't seem to get it together. And it was talking about how moves hit you psychologically. I watched a video that was talking about how moves hit you psychologically, and that is one of the main reasons why people sometimes fall out of an order or whatever, is not just the different layout of the house, but it could be feng shui, the energy movement in the space, or it could be just the trauma of the move. Like we had a very traumatic move too, so I feel you, like right around the same time you did. And it's been something that's challenged even our marriage, where it's just not saying that like we're not gonna whatever, but it definitely brings up conversations that are less pleasant and enjoyable. Like we used to be just like laugh all the fucking time at everything, and now we're just like having to have these long heavy discussions.
It makes you rethink. You're like, man, I said for better and worse, didn't I? Why does it have to be worse? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It is. And I think that was one of the biggest issues that actually, you know what? It wasn't an issue. It was a catalyst. It's really because of this and my suffering, and because of because I have the will to live. I'm like I said, I'm working really hard on the things that I can control.
Yeah.
So as far as my marriage goes, I want to be here, and I am madly in love, and I'm not going to give up. So here's what I'm going to do to fix it. And
Yeah.
so I instead of waiting for, things you wish you could have, or what you wish the other person would do, I realized I can't do that. It's either because if you do that, you're probably going to end up leaving somebody. So what's going to happen?
That's true. That's true. You can't like get something from somebody that they don't have. So you just have to fill your own needs, and then you have to enjoy the person that you're with, and you have to make sure that their needs are being met as well, not by you necessarily, but you both have to kind of like just make sure that you're not you're making compromises, but you're not compromising yourself to the point where your needs are severely not being met. And so you have to just be talking through those things. It used to
Yeah.
be so much before COVID. Wasn't everything easier?
I don't know. It's
I don't
pretty
know.
garbage back then too.
It seems like it was easier in some ways, but it was definitely easier before the move. But I think COVID and the move together is like this, like, and there's so much doom. There's a lot of people I used to follow on social media. Like we're talking about things that like, or at least I was mentioning to you, there's things that you have to kind of like give up, or like you were talking about reeling back or whatever yourself from putting yourself like too, like trying to push too hard on yourself, which used to be like something that you did that you felt proud of or whatever, or developed self-esteem from being a hard worker or whatever. But the other thing, because I relate to that, I'm not saying you, I'm not making fun of you, but the other thing is there are people that I used to follow on social media that are like, they like being forecasters of doom. And so I have had to pretty much just like hide all those people and not follow their channels, because I cannot listen to like forecasts of like future forecasts of doom. Like I'm just like, no, I'm not even, it's not like I'm in denial that things could go wrong. It's not that I'm in denial that people need to be prepared. It's just that I don't need that constant messaging of like the forecast of like, this is going, how it's going to be, instead of this is how it could be. I'm like, you know what, you've jumped the shark there for me, because I don't think anybody needs, that's poison to me. So I have to like really be very, very careful about having those people on my timeline. So I will hide them if I love them and care about them, but they are full of that poison. I just don't take the venom. Like to me, that is like purposely hurting yourself.
I personally wonder about their well-being, right? How's your well-being if that's consuming your life? And even if it's not, that's what you're putting out to other people. And I'm not saying it's wrong or bad to know about anything and to stay updated. I personally don't do that because because I can't control that. That's not something I can actively do. When it starts to rear its head around me and in my wonderful little town, that's when I take action, because I'm an action person. I need solutions, and I need this, and I provide that for myself. I find them inside of my heart and inside myself. I find them. I go way beyond most people do, and I just stay away from it. But I have so many friends that are suffering physically, and not just me, but I think it's obvious to everybody who's close to them that the reason they're suffering so badly is because of the consumption. You're consuming so much of this negativity that you can't control. And not only that, you don't have solutions, but you just keep taking it and taking it and taking it. And you're killing yourself. And you don't know how to heal yourself because you're still, well, over here, while you're trying to help yourself, you're still just like consuming it. And
Yeah,
you're
I
really
think
hurting.
I think there's a lot of people that are like, you need to be ready. You need to be ready. It's like, okay, why aren't you telling people how to get ready? Why aren't you telling people like, here's something that you could do to improve your life today, because that is going to help you for the future if you're not taking care of your shit today,
Well, why
like,
do you need somebody to tell you? That's why I was like, why?
well,
I don't
that
need anybody
too,
to
but
tell
I
me
feel
what
like
I need.
if
Come
you feel
on.
like you need to go wake people up because something bad is coming or whatever, or could come and they're not going to be prepared and you're worried about them, or it's just like worrying is, in my mind, is praying in reverse. That's what I've always said. Worrying is praying backwards. It's like praying for a negative outcome. And so I just don't want to be in that space mentally, because I know that is not like the thing that I want my mind powers to be focused on. Because I believe in, like, to some degree, like law of attraction and stuff that a lot of people might poo poo. But if you keep your mindset in a certain frame of thinking, a lot of and this is something, because you mentioned about their well-being. There's someone in particular I'm thinking of that is just constantly forecasting doom on the person's timeline, and that person has one after another strange mysterious calamities happen to them, and like a lot of banking issues, even, and focused always negatively on the banks, and the money in the banks,
Oh
and the
no.
money in the banks, but then has all these like personal banking clerical errors happening to them at a level that is beyond what normal people go through. And so you think, okay, wait a minute, there's some kind of like it could just be a coincidence. But
It
like it might
could
not. Like
be.
this thinking could be affecting things for you that are just, and then gets a lot of attention from the all the negative things happening. And so that's kind of like a little feedback loop that you don't want to be in, because it's like, I get attention for being in shitty places, so I'm just going to keep putting myself in shitty places.
Everybody loves a dumpster fire. I sure do. No, I'm just kidding.
I could roast
Well,
some marshmallows.
that's right. That's right. Pretend marshmallows. No,
You
I'm
could
just
have,
kidding.
well, let's say you could make them with just the collagen, right? And none of the sugar. I don't know. Can you make, because I use animal collagen to make marshmallows. So
Yeah, I could make them and they would have zero flavor. That would be ridiculous.
it would just be the texture.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good on that. Well, the thing about those people too, and that I personally find, is that I don't know what they want. Like, what do they want? Do they want you to commiserate? Because let me tell you what they don't want. And this is, those people hate me.
I know. I know.
They don't want
I've
that.
said it to this specific person. I said, you know what? I just think the doomsdaying is getting bombastic, and I don't see like you like I get it. You're saying like, but what if I don't say it? And like people don't wake up and they don't do something about it. It's like, but I don't hear you saying what to do about it. Like, I don't see you saying what can be done, and you're focusing so much on the bad thing that's going to happen, but not enough on like love your children,
Yeah.
hug on your children, because it's really good for your like nervous system regulation.
They don't want that. They don't like people like us where let's find a way to fix that. They don't
Yeah.
want none of that. They don't want nothing to do with your positivity. I don't know what it is. I mean, now that I'm reading this book. It's called The Body Keeps the Score,
Oh my
obviously.
gosh. I guess I'm going to have to read that book now because everybody has recommended that.
That's
You're like one more.
hilarious.
I don't believe
Yeah.
this is a coincidence that one more person is telling me. Okay.
Well, I mean, that's what's happening to me. So I
Yes.
start because I do a lot of research when I'm feeling things that make me uncomfortable, or when I'm thinking things that if I can't find a solution, I start looking like a maniac for the solution that fits for me, and that kept coming up, and I thought so I bought it, and I've been reading it actually, and that when I hear of that behavior, I can see what this book is talking about as far as reliving, reliving these pre-programmed defenses and these things in our brain. And for the most part, I'm like, man, I think I pretty much avoided a lot of this stuff. But now I'm getting deeper into the book where it talks about, children who were closer to my personal situation. And now I can see that all these times I thought that I thought I had great qualities, like, oh, like how could you be mad at me? I'm a happy person. I don't say bad things about people. I try to be understanding and supportive, and I'm crazy forgiving, and I will dismiss your bad behavior because I understand that it comes from a bad place, and I'm just super neutral. And if I need to be quiet, then I will. I thought being all of those things was my growth, and
That sounds a little like codependency, a little bit. Like, because to me, like the whole, like what you're talking about, forgiving, and then you talk about dismissing, and those are two totally different. Like, forgiveness means I love you and I see you, who you are, and I'm sending love to you. But my sending love to you doesn't have to be any of your business. You don't even have to be in my life or in the room or in my experience of my world for me to have that love for you.
yeah. No, I get it. I'm starting to see these things now.
Yeah,
This
I
book is
know.
helping me. It's the book that's showing me that I'm basically still just a traumatized child, and I'm still just doing all my pre-programmed,
We all
things
are.
that I do. Well, shoot, I thought I was so great. I thought I won the game, and then it turns out I just been shoving it down into my gut and hurting myself all this time. All the things that I didn't want to do, I've been doing, and I didn't see it. I just couldn't see that. And this book has been really helpful for me, and it, kind of helps me kind of see other people too. Now I can see where they're coming from, and unfortunately for the way that I've become, I think it's really hurtful to me. So now I'm in the process like, okay, now what do I do about that? And that's hard because I really just I just want to love everybody.
Mhm.
I don't get it. So for me in my brain, it's like I don't know, why can't I just be
Not
with
everybody is for
everything?
me.
Why not? I want
I just pick
everyone. No,
my
I'm just kidding.
favorites.
Well, we had a great party a couple weeks ago before we went on vacation, and everybody that came, I invited people from. There's this freedom group out here, and then there's another one.
Is Jason in it?
He's in one of them, yeah.
Yeah.
So not he. There's this group, and then there's this group, and because of the rules and regulations and things like that in this group, people in this group aren't in this group. And then because of the rules and regulations about people in this group, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I thought that's really weird,
Uh-huh.
because I'm friends with all of them. And then I've got the homeschoolers too. And then I have just local people who are my friends here, and they're all the same. In my mind, like everybody is practicing the same value. So I don't understand why everybody's not together. So I had a party here at my house for the first time. It's very small, and on that day it was crazy windy.
And you
So we had
forced them all on each other.
bro, we shoved all 50 people into our tiny little house. It was ridiculous, but what I kept hearing about from people is, how do you know so many cool people? They're like, everybody here is so cool. Like, how do you do that? And I don't have walls.
Yeah.
I don't have these regulations or these stipulations, or I don't have that. Because that's not who I am. I
Well,
don't.
and I don't think, maybe not consciously, but I think when you put out who you are in a very clear way, and this is what I teach about boundaries and stuff, is that if you put out who you are and what you want in a really clear way, all that's not that will go like, and kind of run from it, if you're
That's
really
what I
clear
think
about it.
too. I
And then,
completely
like,
agree.
if you're really clear, like, yeah, that kind of bullshit is not a part of my life, and I kind of laugh at it and mock it. So they're like, oh, I don't want to be around that. Like, that's gonna be very uncomfortable.
We just, I don't think people realize the things that they're putting up, and I don't know. There was only, I think, very little conflict. There was there. It's hard to explain for me because I have such a hard time with this stuff. Um, there were people here who did have conflict with each other, not here, but previous conflict,
Okay.
and I mean, it was still fine. There was no drama. But there was that. But that's because I just like put it out there for everybody to just like come or don't. And
Yeah.
so there was still that, but I get it. I get that regular people can have conflict and just be like, no. I I don't know how to do that, but I get that people can do that, and I
Difference
admire
of
it.
opinion I can handle a lot because I have difference of opinion, which is about everybody. Um,
You should, right? I think there is I feel like you are not taking care of your own well-being if you are surrounding yourself with people who agree, with you constantly, or, and that was kind of
as
what I
long as
was
they share
seeing.
my values, like if the values are completely different, then I don't see a value in hanging out with people or spending so much of my time with people that, and I just will, like, there's too many great people in the world to, like, focus on people that are super like it's never going to work, or it's going to take gymnastics to make it work. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to be a relationship gymnast anymore. Like that's just not worth it.
Maybe I'll get there one day. I need Tyler. I need Tyler for those things because he tells me I don't want this person in my life, and I go, okay. I don't say sorry, you can't be in our lives anymore. I say I just put the space between us. Like, well, now there's
Yeah.
space. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry, that's how it is, and I'm not mad about it or anything because I appreciate his ability to say that this person is not going to serve us, and like. And in my brain, it's like, maybe I can help, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, there's no like point in spending time trying to make that happen if it's not something somebody doesn't even want. And I
Yes.
think maybe that's a Scorpio thing because I think I relate to Tyler in that a lot, you know.
It's well, normal people are like that. I think that's great. I really do. But me being a Gemini, unfortunately, it's just a lot of duality, you know, which means I don't know, maybe I feel like I can handle a lot more. But like I said, like this whole video has been about my lessons that I can't. And not just that, but now it's like focusing on me. This is here's all the things I want to do, and here's what needs to change in my life. And I am like, try to stop me now. I am finding solutions because it's either that or die at this point, and I'm not gonna do the latter. So
So the shamanic journey thing that you've, because we did that together, we took that course together, and that was really powerful for me too. And I was kind of sharing it with Aaron when I was coming home, and he was really into it as well. When you're doing it, do you just find like some how are you doing it by yourself? Like I found it much easier to do with Karen than this was not me, Karen, the other Karen.
yes.
Is it Cottingham? Is that
Yeah.
her name? Yeah. And I found it much easier to do in the course with her and putting the music on, and at home it was a little more of a struggle. I don't know why.
No, I totally get it. It has been for me as well, which is why I just kept taking her classes every chance I got because that was
Right.
like the only time. So now that Tyler's doing this reading thing at night, it's perfect to get the kids. So the kids are totally under control. And Vinny, I mean, he's a big boy now, so he knows when to leave mom alone. And there's a video on YouTube that I use. It's 30 minutes long, and you just turn it on, and it's just the drumming.
Okay.
So I'm learning now how to hold space for myself. That's something that I have never been able to do. And I think that goes along with all the psychological things I've been struggling with. But I'm learning now. So I do the meditation that she would do in the beginning, and I find that really helpful. I light a little San Paulo to just kind of give me a different environment from my home, you know, because I'm doing it in my home.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm using my senses to ignite a different, lighter environment.
Then
And
like kids and chaos and
yeah, or just like the smell, just the smell of being home, you know.
yeah.
So I use that, and I just hold it real close to my face so that while I'm meditating, I'm not home. You know what I mean? Like, okay,
Yeah.
mom's not here anymore, and that's been really helpful alone, just the meditating, because I don't do that ever. I know I should, and I know that I've known that I should, and I still haven't. But I've been doing that, and that alone has showed me just basically how full of it I am. You know, I'm really like it every time has been a process of bringing in energy from the earth and getting rid of the negative from the top, you know, out into space. But it's been difficult because I see now how much I've been holding on to. You know, I don't have a voice. I don't have it's just a lot of things that I realize that I used to have and I no longer am having. And instead, I'm just like piling it in and piling it in. And so that's been helping me see that I need to do a lot more releasing. So I'm just getting started with that. And then I go into and then I turn it on and I place an old
Eye
cloth
pillow.
diaper.
I have one.
It's a cloth diaper that I just use. And I have my journal, my journeying journal
Yeah,
right
that's
next
what I
to
was
me.
gonna say. Do you keep your journal still right
I
next to
do.
you?
Uh-huh. And I have to keep the lights on, which is why I need something. That way I can come out of it and just start writing it before I forget everything. So
Hmm.
the first one that I did, I didn't really, I'm doing it because I just like what I kept saying was, I want the path. Like somebody show me how to get back onto my path. And what happened was, while in the journey, it was like being completely drunk, like overly drunk. You can't see clear. Like the whole time I'm doing this, and you just like, you want to walk, but you can't because your body, you can't control your body, and and it was struggling the whole time, actually. And I couldn't walk, and I could feel somebody pulling me in a direction, but I couldn't move my body. I was stuck. And finally, at the very end of that journey, the message was that I needed to go back because I didn't have, I couldn't move forward, basically. I can't move forward in my path where I'm at now because I have no control over my body. Uh, and then the second one is where I got the clear, very, very clear message that this is all out of whack, and that's why I can't move myself. So I need to work on things. And then the third one, it told me specifically how, actually, really funny. It said that I needed to heal my mind with art, and I needed to heal my heart with earth, and then I needed to heal my body with water. So I'm currently in the process of trying to find those ways on how to do that, because like I said, I got to know how to do things and where's my solutions at. So I'm looking for that. And so these next journeys, the goal is to find the tools and find the way to do that, because I can't even move forward, and I feel it. I'm so stuck, and that's ridiculous. And not only that, it's shown me that I've like completely closed myself off, inside of myself. And it's funny that you learn these things about you'd think I would know. I mean, I know that I know what I'm thinking, but you don't know what's happening inside you until you go inside yourself and see it like clear as day. And people, and not people, but you're being told the answers. The answers are right there. You just have to go in to do it, which is why I think shamanic journeying is such a powerful tool for everybody, because when you need an answer, it's there. You've got it. It's right here. The problem is everybody looks out. Everybody's looking for the help outside. And, fortunately for me, there's never been any help on the outside. So except for you, Karen, you're the only help.
You're hilarious. No, I
So
think it is fascinating, like what you're saying. And as far as the fire being one of the things that like, and this like we didn't go camping. We don't camp, but we stayed at a nice house with a big fire pit in the backyard when we went on vacation. And just doing that, I think there's something to the smoke and the fire that makes a difference. And when we just got back from Houston, it was like Aaron was just like, I gotta grill out. I gotta grill out. And I wonder if there's something to it more than just, I just want to barbecue because it's fun to stand outside and poke at meat on a grill and get smoke in your face. I wonder if it's the fact that there's fire there, and that's like an element that we need more of in our lives, that we
oh,
to help us connect to the earth and to like natural elements and stuff. So I don't know.
you
I'm
only did
just
the one class, man.
speculating.
There's so much more that you can find with shamanic journeying. There was a time where we did the elements, actually, and
Hmm.
you have to go to a particular place. You have to know where to go to find these things, which is why it's really helpful to have a teacher, actually. And unfortunately for me, she's my she's she's been like the best mother figure, I think, that I've had in my life. She's pretty much I mean, they took me in right when I was 21, and she was like a mother-in-law, but she's so much more to me, fortunately. And so I have her as a teacher and as a guide when I need, and she's there for me. So I'm fortunate in that sense. As a matter of fact, I'm currently, I would like to start offering shamanic journeying classes here. As a matter of fact, that's something I'd like to offer, and it was mostly because of what I've seen. Like I was telling you earlier, I have a friend who is doom consuming so much that I think he's suffering really hard physically now.
Yeah.
And it's not just him. There's people everywhere because I mean, I get it. There's so much information, and a lot of people get into that point where you say, well, what am I going to do? What am I supposed to do about that? Me and Tyler make a joke about it. Like, do we go live in East Snowflake and live in a mud house and just poop in the dirt? Like, what do we do?
I know, I know. You don't want to think about that. It's like that's such a negative projection for your life. I mean, thinking about the possibilities and the way to make shit work when it's shitty is not like exactly the same thing as dreaming about your big vision. You know what I mean? And I think it's a distraction in a lot of ways, like how to make things work in the shit is kind of like one of the ways we distract ourselves sometimes from what we really want and figuring out how to make what we really want happen. Because instead, we spend all our figuring out how to make it happen work with like all of our energy goes to that like really shitty possibility instead of like the really good one or whatever. Um, we haven't talked much about all these.
Sorry.
No, it's
I was
okay. Do
thinking,
you want to
shoot,
like bring
is it
it
an
up
hour?
really quick on the website up so everybody can kind of get a look at it and see what they can order from you? And you're not doing online classes as much, but
It's
still
still in the plans, actually. It's
okay.
still in the plans. So let me share my screen with you super quick.
Please do.
All right. So we can walk you through. There we go. All right. So I do still have a website. And like I said, I am pretty much limited as far as products go to Arizona.
Oh,
As far
really? So like people are not ordering them for shipping as much?
Well, here's the thing is with my licensing and how I stay kind of
Yes.
below the radar, you have to live in Arizona. So I can ship
Okay.
all around Arizona. It's not a
Now
big deal.
let me ask you this. Are there stores that carry all eats that I could order from that
That's a
way
good
and they could
question. Well, let me
and
tell you, I
you know what, and
can.
this is something that you might add to your website because I've seen other companies do this and I've always wondered why don't they just ship this products and they ship them to the store as a store. Maybe it's a situation like what you're in. So that's one of the ways they get around it is they say these are the stores that carry our products.
I do. So I do have that. In fact, I'll show you.
Okay,
And,
cool.
and here's the thing: is with my licensing, I can totally ship to family and friends.
Okay.
So, so my
Is
message
anyone
there
that's watching
is
this show a family and friend?
that's what I'm saying. So, if for legal purposes, you must be in Arizona. But if we're friends, just shoot me an email, and I would love to share anything that I have with you.
Can we look at your shop right now?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
So this is still a work in progress because it's mostly just me and Tyler, and since I am working on certain
Well,
things,
all the pictures look super yummy.
so I have
I
a.
have made that chocolate brownie. No, I've made the chocolate brownie mix. The one at the bottom, that one. Yep, that one.
Mhm.
It is amazing. It's so delicious. Oh my
So the
gosh.
point is obviously to be simple. All you have to do with these mixes is add water and your choice of fat. So oil, lard, butter, whatever, it doesn't matter. I have two sizes, which which would be I think this one makes like 12 or maybe more cookies, medium-sized cookies, and then the other one would make double that. So you're going to get quite a bit of cookies or brownies, brownie mix, whatever. You can see, let's see, let me click on it. You can see that the ingredients. Um, look at that. Crazy simple ingredients. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 ingredients.
I can't
And then
make anything with only 6 ingredients.
I see. It's all crazy simple,
I
which
get
is,
I get nuts so when I get in the kitchen. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna add a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
well, you're not a beginner. That's the thing, is you're not a beginner to this type
True.
of stuff. So the reason I wanted to do this was to make it easy, because I know that finding ingredients is
Hmm.
extremely difficult for some people. It's hard, it's overwhelming, but if you look at everything, let's see, I wonder if let's see, oh, right, no, never mind. Shoot. Anyways,
It's in probably in the description, right?
it should be, I'm not sure. Oh, there we are. Oh, there it is, right there. 3 ingredients.
Nice.
Bam. Simple, easy, completely organic. Make it however you want. You don't want to use agave, fine. Use anything, almost anything. So that's why we had the chocolate class. I wanted to show everybody how easy it is to make your own organic chocolate to whatever your diet says. So, anyways, this is still really simple, as you can see. We're still working on stuff. It's just me and Tyler, but it's mostly me that's failing this portion of my of my website.
So are
But
the graham crackers pre-made or is it a mix?
oh, that's funny. You know
Nice.
what? I need to fix a lot of this stuff because I wanted to do pre-made.
Okay.
Oh man, the honey sesame crackers are my biggest sellers, actually. Isn't that hilarious? And it's seriously just honey and sesame seeds. And they are the
I would
biggest
probably
stuff.
order some graham crackers from you and probably maybe try the honey sesame as well. That
I
sounds
the thing is I haven't added so many products to this, unfortunately. See, I just started this one. This one's simple. It's just
I
tap
have
your
one of
phone and
those
systems.
packs.
Yep.
I still haven't made the pizza with it yet. I need to. My
Okay.
issue is I need to find I can no longer eat dairy. Like I found out I was allergic to whey, so all this time it's been bugging me. So I cannot have cheese. I can't even have raw. It doesn't matter if it's raw or I can't have like even lactose free stuff because it still has whey. It still has the protein. So it's not the lactose that's getting me, it's the protein. So
It's
unfortunately,
it's it's fairly simple.
yeah.
Just, fat, water, and eggs.
Uh-huh. So I've got to get some of that really shitty dairy-free cheese that
Oh no, don't.
I don't
That's just oil. That's all that is.
I know it's not something I would eat every day, but it's something that I could use once in a while as a treat or whatever because the dairy just killed me.
Well, my goal now is to start adding more things that I pre-make here. For
Yeah.
example, I do, like, for just regular old gluten-free people, I do caramel Rice Krispies. So it's just 3 ingredients and there's no dairy. It's completely vegan and no sugar, obviously. On here, you can see that we add all our videos. So every video that I create or have created, look at that silly face.
I have
Um,
that necklace.
I know, I love it. So there's so much, and in fact, this is at one of the locations that you can find my products at, as a matter of fact. And so up
Cool.
here we have the locations, which is here in the White Mountains, and I'm hoping to spread that down all the way to I mean, everywhere in Arizona. I'd like to do it. In fact, I'm pretty sure that I can do my classes anywhere. So I do have plans to take my classes and go do them live all over Arizona, and then possibly spread out where people can purchase my products and things like that. It just becomes hard with logistics as far as pre-made foods go. So
Hmm.
I'm working on those things. I have so many ideas that I'm working on, and don't forget, this doesn't stress me out. This makes me really happy because I know that I'm helping people all over the place. So this is just for now. I still have so many more plans. Here's the addresses. Right now, this is where I'm doing my classes. That's right here in Snowflake. I have people coming from Phoenix all the way up here, which is a 3-hour drive, if you didn't know, just to attend my classes. So I'm really happy about that. And then I'm working on, I need to update this. June turned out to be the month that everybody was leaving town. So, in fact, I think I need to announce and fix that my next class is going to be August 12th. That will be my gluten and grain-free tortillas class. During these classes, I
Have
try
I
to.
shared with you my like little lentil recipe for making tortilla?
I I don't think you have.
Oh, okay. It's just actually lentil beans. You sprout them and then throw them in your blender, puree it, add some garlic, salt, pepper, and you have to just, the trick is putting it on the pan really thin so that it like a crepe almost.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's the only trick to it. But other than that, they come out really good. Like
Yeah,
everybody
I'll have to
loves
try
those.
that. I'm
They're
still I'm still thinking, the like I said, the point for all of these is to be crazy easy. So I have 5 recipes that are crazy easy that you can
mm-hmm.
use. And not only that, but I offer, and in fact, these are the I don't know if you tried them, the rice flour, brown rice flour tortillas. That's why I say gluten and grain free, because a lot of the, I think like 4 of them are grain free, but the rice flour tortillas, they're so easy, they're vegan, they're soft, that I thought that I should definitely include that as well. Plus, people out here are mostly gluten free.
Uh-huh.
So that's the easy part about that. So during my
Nice.
classes, they're just over, I don't know, like hour and a half max, and everybody performs at least 5 recipes, and then I bring things for you to taste with all this stuff. So this is kind of going to be kind of like a taco night for my alt
Love it.
flour tortilla classes. So I
Does
plan
everybody drink
on,
margaritas?
I, they should.
We're
I
learning
think
healthy ways to eat while drinking margaritas.
that's hilarious. Well, that's the sad part about my health right now is I haven't had a drink forever.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not, my liver is not, I have to, it's like PSA, my liver is not suffering because of alcohol because I'm not an
No,
alcoholic.
I
It
know.
has it's so much to do with everything else in the foods I eat. Sorry, I just realized I'm circling this just like habitually.
No, it's good.
Anyways,
Tells
so
everyone. So we know your website is it alteats.com or at .life?
AltEats.Life, because
AltEats.life.
Alt Eats is alt life, right? You don't just change the way you eat. When you have to change the way you eat, you 100% you have to change the way you live. You have to. Everything in your life changes, okay? But it doesn't have to be difficult. That's why I say simple is key. So
Yep.
you can find me, my email address. You can sign up for emails. That'll tell you that you can just email that directly back if you want anything, or you have questions, or you just want to say hi and be friends forever. Let's do it. I'm there.
Well, the link will be, but will be is the link is below this show right now. So click on it,
Yes.
please, and
This
make
talk,
friends with Cassandra so she can send you good food.
let's be friends and family together. I'm just
Yes,
kidding.
friends and family.
So this just goes into my life that I was talking about. There's me in high school. Aren't I adorable?
Yeah.
Warm and cuddly. And it just talks about how I've struggled with weight my whole life. This is also, I was 9 years old. I was so sick. I think I started suffering from
Is that
anxiety.
you?
Yeah, that's me right there.
Wow.
Aren't I adorable? I wore a size 18 by the age of 9.
Unrecognizable, really.
Yep, this is all me. That's me. By the time
Yeah.
I was 18 years old, I weighed over 300 pounds. It's just that's who I was. And then once I lost all that weight, here I am, 21. I don't have many pictures of myself. So, there's me totally drunk in that picture. But but
Look at what family can do for you.
ta-da!
Look at what family can do for your health.
It's just me and my beautiful family. So, and I talk
Yes.
about everything, and this is the reason that I am the way that I am and who I am and all about me. Hooray! So sign up for emails. It's really not spectacular. I thought there was a portion where it had like pictures of food, and I was looking for that because I wanted to show you all the different things that I'd like to start
There you go.
offering. There's more, but I was thinking for the next market, what I'll do is to get people to sign up for my tortilla classes, I'll offer bags of tortillas, all the different kinds of tortillas made and ready to go.
Very good.
Oh, yep. Everything that I make
Yum.
is grain and sugar free, as you can see. Or I don't know if you can see that, but it's simple. And I just want to, we've been doing it for so long. I just want to show everybody. So, there's free videos if you sign up. I mean, I try, we have like mini classes and courses and things like that, many things that we offer for free. I'll show you how to do certain things. So, you'll find that in the videos as well, right there, the videos. So I don't know. That's it.
Thank
That's all
you.
we
Thank
got.
you for bringing this to the world. Thank you for doing this, instead of just saving it just for your family or just for, you know,
I was forced. I was forced to do it. No, I'm just kidding. It's my friend Mary. She's the most supportive friend. I can't believe it. And she just was like, just stop thinking about it and do it. And I need people to tell me that because I'll overthink everything. And she's the one who. It all started with a post from on Facebook for my granola, my grain and nut and sugar-free granola. And it just took off from there. And then when all of the,
wait, there's no nuts in your granola?
mm-mm, it's all seeds. It's all seeds and dried fruit and honey, and that's
Okay.
it. So it's easy stuff.
Aaron makes his, but he puts almonds, like chopped up almonds.
Well, I had to cut the nuts out for the oxalates. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Do the
I mean,
seeds not have as many oxalates as, or just almonds are really
mm,
high?
no, yeah, just nuts. Nuts in
Yeah.
general are really high, unfortunately. So every recipe on here, everything that I do, I created through my journey of
Your
unwellness,
own health
or,
forced you
or
to.
yeah, towards my goal of wellness. That's how I've created all of these things. So I've taken, and I mean, not just that, but as you can imagine, it's hard being a chef, a professional chef, and working in places and businesses when you're gluten free. So I can't taste a lot of
It's
things, or
really hard when you're a mom and you're doing it at home.
that's what I was trying to tell the kids. And Vinny, whenever he's
Grow
criticized,
up already so I can. You
when he
can either put on a
criticizes my
hat and help
food,
me be
oh
my
my
sous
gosh.
chef.
I need to cook. I need that. If I'm not cooking for my family, I'm gonna have to cook for somebody. Come on. So I live for that stuff because I like that because I'm a traumatized child who needs to serve and make everybody happy. No, I'm just kidding. I think that's okay. That's an okay trait. Come on.
Yeah.
That's an okay thing to have to make people happy with
If
food.
it's healthy, like I said at the beginning, if it's healthy, that's what makes the difference. If you're giving people health, if you're extending their life, then you're showing love through your cooking. And if you're giving them poison, then it's not, but it's hitting your like little neurotransmitters or whatever and making you get little serotonin bumps for killing yourself, then it's not a good idea.
That was my friend. That's what she said. She said, "I don't feel guilty eating your food. Like that you can." And my kids, you want cake? Have cake
Same,
for breakfast. So
same. I that's why I need more chocolate brownie mix.
there you go. It's so easy. So
All
the
right.
only way to get my recipes is through the classes, by the way. So,
Okay.
and we will
Awesome.
be offering those online. We will be doing that again. And as of right now, I think we're just working on, I'm working on, I think my classes could be better in person. So I'm working really hard towards that. It's a little bit of a perfectionist, and I know that things should go very smoothly, and so I need that to work out in this environment that I'm in, this bakery. It's very small, so I'm trying to figure out how to make that work well. And like I said, I want to take it. I want to offer it to everybody. So online, absolutely, but I think there's no law or license stopping me from going anywhere to teach my classes. I maybe I can't sell my products, but I can 1,000% go anywhere I want to and have a class.
Yeah.
So, and I can bring my products with me if anybody wants to take some home. So I've got that down. So those are the things that we're working on. Now everybody knows my journey and what's been happening, and I hope that if there's any message I want to get across, it's that there's a way. I guess there's always a way, and you got to find your way.
Yeah.
There's no other way. You got to
Yeah.
find your way.
Yes,
So
be the authentic.
if I can help you with that, I would love to. Are you kidding me? I will do whatever it takes, because people like me need people like you, and there's other people out there that might need people like me. So I don't have, those doors aren't closed. I'm here to help.
Planting seeds.
Yes. I hope so.
Well, I love you, Cassandra. Thank you for being here on Wellbeing Wednesday and sharing so much of your personal journey right now and everything that's going
Seriously.
on with you.
A bit much, wasn't it? Maybe too much.
Not at all. I think
cut it out.
that's the point of this, is that we share some of our struggles so that we can help others. The Otto von Bismarck quote that I have at the beginning and the end of my book says, that the fool learns from his own mistakes, but the wise man learns from the mistakes of others. So if we don't share our mistakes, we cannot expect the world to be wise.
Hallelujah. I think there's so many fools out there, man. It's easy. Everything's right there. Just don't do that stupid stuff. I'm just kidding. Just stop. What's wrong with you? No, I'm just playing. That's me as a therapist and a self-help.
Let me trip over myself so you can see how not to do it.
Yes. That's why, if you're feeling things and your body's not great, there's plenty of people like me, who have gone through it, and like you. Luckily, you were there to help me realize so much of my issues. So
all these words, like, no, there's one more thing I can't eat now.
See, it's an illusion. Wellness. No, I'm just kidding. No. I like it. An active pursuing goal. That's it. That I can accept that, because I don't feel like we've ever found anything ever. You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing. Nothing is final. So as long as you're actively pursuing.
I heard an interview yesterday of a guy with my friend Brittany Schaefer has a podcast. And she was interviewing this guy about vaccines mainly, but he was talking about on his own health journey that he went on a strict elimination diet, probably like GAPS or carnivore. He healed his leaky gut and he can now introduce other foods back into his diet. And so, there is maybe a light at the end of the, restricted.
I think so.
And my friend Deanna has the same story. My friend Deanna went to where she was just eating chicken for a long time. So she could eat, chicken soup.
Hey,
chicken,
I love it. I love chicken. I keep telling Vinny,
like, a lot more. So there are people that have been on that dark place and have come back and
help you find your own way. I'm hoping that by the time, I figure it took me about 35 years to get to the worst point that I've ever been as far as my wellness goes. So I'm hoping that it'll, or no, 21. Then I lost my weight and started getting sick. So I told Vinny, I was like, maybe by the time I'm 42, I'll finally be on my way, like, right? Because it takes that time.
And then you get to deal with perimenopause.
Yay.
Let me tell you how fun that is.
Can't wait. No, just kidding.
I'm actually done. I've been over a year without a period, so I am on the other side. I am not peri anymore. I am menopausal.
Oh my gosh! Yay! Celebrations. I can't say that I'm waiting.
You can all bow to my wisdom.
I do. I love your wisdom. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to eat cool again, eat cool stuff. But if not, I'm cool. You know what? I just want to be alive. So if that means never eating anything sweet again, then fine. Like, I will take that 1,000%, because that's not more important than being alive.
We get our sweetness from our kids and from our pets and from our lover and all of that. So
I figured I'm too sweet, and that's why it said you can't take in anymore. You're good for the rest of your life.
That's it too.
It's too much.
Life brings you sweetness in other ways. So
honestly, my hair has been doing better.
It looks amazing.
It's been doing better. It's really weird, because when it started dying off and getting like this, like, I didn't cut this. I didn't style myself in any way. So I started doing that when I was really sick last time, 3 years ago.
Yes,
and now I'm really sick again.
And you were like, I didn't cut my hair. It just all fell out or fell off.
It just like died, and it's not doing that right now. So I'm hoping like maybe this sickness is like another changing point, another turn in the road. It's just
another like skin to shed, like our chicken's feathers molt and come off and start over and all that. That's probably what's going on.
I think so. I hope so, because I love having long hair. Stop it.
The old you is falling off, so the new you can emerge. Probably
I hope so.
that could be what's happening with your liver too. All the cells are replacing themselves, but maybe just a little too rapid for your comfort.
All right. Well, fingers crossed. Meanwhile, it's been
I
a
always
great
put that
catalyst.
out there because that's how I use like mind and like the power of my mind and prayer is just to put that out there as a possibility.
Well, that's why I say I think now maybe feeling horrible and having to deal with so much, maybe that's just another changing point in an awesome direction. My hair will grow again. You know, I can go back to the gym and get strong again, and who knows? I'm very hopeful. Are you kidding me? I'm not giving up. There
Yeah.
is nothing that can make me give up. I've got 3 amazing kids and a husband that I love, so they'll have to kill me first. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Gotta get rid of
Well,
me.
my Zoom is freezing up for some reason, so
Oh.
I think that's time to wrap it up and just say thank you to everyone for watching. The stuff for Cassandra's stuff is under her stuff.
Sorry it was so long. I'm just kidding.
No, not at all. It was wonderful. I think there's so much to value to take away from this conversation for myself even. And yeah, so I know other people will benefit from it as well. So thank you for being here, Cassandra.
Thank you for having me. And don't forget, reel it in.
Yeah, I will.
And shake and bake. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so we'll have all the links for you. And if you want to share that shamanic video link also that you use on YouTube, the drumming, throw that in there, and then people can listen to the drumming and maybe hook up with Karen. We'll put some of her information on there too to learn shamanic journey. And then when you start doing your classes, we'll have you back on here to do a little run through a little shamanic journey on our little video chat.
Oh boy, you can do a lot in 5 minutes. It's crazy. You'd be surprised. It's crazy.
Let's do it.
It's powerful. Hey, I'm down.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
doing it. I'm doing it. We are healing. Let's all just heal together.
Yes.
Do you want me to send you the link to that, or I don't?
Yeah, send me the link and then I'll throw it on the video before we publish on Wednesday. There's
All right.
nothing to
Well,
heal, only truth to be revealed. That's
I hope I didn't bore anybody to death, and
not at all, but I think you have kids coming up and sneaking in right behind you.
Yeah.
I saw an arm.
Jerks. I'm just kidding.
Thank you everyone for watching Wellbeing Wednesday. It has been a pleasure as always, and have a wonderful week. Bye.